Hello guys, and welcome to the War Thunder tank review series with Voyager. Today I want to take a look at the British Cromwell V, which sits at a 3.0 battle rating in realistic battles. The Cromwell V is a cruiser tank. It is not a light, medium or heavy tank. The British called their tanks either tank destroyers or cruiser tanks or infantry tanks. Infantry tanks were tanks that were heavy, slow and well armored. They were designed to follow with the infantry, cover the infantry, so they didn't have to be quick. Infantry tanks are, for example, the Matilda or the Churchill. Cruiser tanks, however, were designed to be quick, to change position quickly, to get to enemy positions quickly. Cruiser tanks are, for example, the one we see here, the Cromwell. It doesn't have too much armor, it really doesn't, but it is very, very quick. So it's kind of like a Leopard 1 or a Hellcat. It's a glass cannon, although it does have a little more armor than the Hellcat, which has only paper armor. So, how do you use this tank? Well, first I want to show you a problem with the tank, how you shouldn't use it, and therefore we jump into another match. After that, I will show you the shells and the armor of the Cromwell V. Here we see what the Cromwell is really good at. On this huge map, nobody is going to see. And nobody is ever there. None of the enemies. I mean, sometimes there are very few tanks going there, but normally there aren't. So that's why I just quickly drove to C, captured it, and then I could go to B where the actual fighting is going along. And that's what you can do really good. This tank is really, really quick and nimble. But as soon as we get to the B point, you see the problem. I will meet a T-34 1942, which, well, is 3.7, so it's a little bit higher in the battle rating. And I have one chance. I have one chance to penetrate his turret, because first I didn't see him. There were actually two T-34s camping on the B point itself. And there the first shot came, I luckily bounced it. And this is my chance. I tried to shoot in his turret to disable his gunner, but I can't penetrate. I tried another time, but it doesn't go through again. The T-34 1942 actually has a really good turret armor, and, well, normally as a glass cannon I should have enough penetration, especially as a British tank, to go through there, but I am not, so that's my death. He just penetrates me on the layer glasses and I'm gone. Okay, here we see the Cromwell V. And as you probably know, this tank doesn't have too much armor. So, how do you protect yourself? Well, you can really, but thank you. But if you want to maximize your armor, you have to angle yourself. I mean, those are all flat surfaces, so the only thing you can do is, instead of shooting at the enemy like that, angle yourself a little bit. Your side armor is really, really thin, so this is kind of the highest angle you should take with your hull. Here you have 73 millimeters of effective thickness, and here you have kind of the same. On the turret, however, you have 36.5 at the front and the same at the side. So if you want to protect your turret, turn it so that this and this has the same angle to the enemy. So there you have 91 and it's like 88, 83, something like that. With that you will probably still be one-shotted, but it's a chance for the enemy to ricochet. And if you see an enemy Cromwell and you want to ammo rack it, there is the ammo. It's actually a pretty good location, but if you know it, just shoot low and this thing will blow up. Looking at the shells, you see there's not too much of a choice. You have the stock shells with 110mm maximum penetration and the APCBC shells which don't have explosive filler like all the British tanks. And normally APCBC has more penetration. In this case it doesn't. So it's not completely better. Mostly APCBC is just the better choice. Here it does have a little less penetration. So the advantage is that the APCBC bounces way less often. So you should definitely use this shell as soon as you have researched it. Just if you need a little more penetration, you can go back to the stock shell. Okay, we're back at the original match, and I actually took a look at the T-34's turret armor. The normal T-34s have 45mm, and the T-34 1942 has 56, with effective thickness in parts of 65mm, which is no problem for the Cromwell at all. It has at least 90, I should have had at least 90mm of penetration, and it also didn't bounce, because, I mean, I saw where the shots were going. I hit the flat surfaces, so I don't know what was the problem there. But, well, T-34s are always a little strange to kill. So, what I did on this map is I flanked around, which is the best thing you should always do with Leopards or Hellcats or the Cromwells. With every light tank you should flank around and get to the enemy sides. They're concentrated on the enemies in front of them, so you have to use that to shoot the people who are not seeing you. This guy actually saw me and shot me, but I got him burning and killed him. Yeah, as you see, the main weakness, or one of the main weaknesses besides the lack of armor of actually every British tank, is the reverse speed. It reverses with 2 km per hour. Some reverse with 3 or 4, but it's bad. So you have to be careful where you're going. If you go too far out of your cover, you have to consider that it takes you a long time to get back into the cover, reversing. So, and from this point on, I don't see any more enemies. It seems like we have pushed them back quite a bit. So I carefully peek out and try to find more enemies. With the better reverse speed, I could have just peeked out and gone back again. But if I peeked out and saw like 2 or 3 enemies, I couldn't shoot them quickly. They would have shot me and I couldn't retreat. That's why you have to be really careful looking out of cover. So, as I don't see anybody, I try to go a little more into their area. I go from cover to cover and see if I can find more enemies on the other side of the river. And with a little patience you will be rewarded. Here I see a T-26, I shoot him, and well, if it wouldn't be a British tank, he would have been dead. But that's always the problem. With British tanks you don't have explosive filler, so it takes you way longer to kill the enemy. He just drove away and evaded my kill. So I didn't see anybody else, so I turned around and drove further into the front to the next cover. What you have to learn with British tanks is to know where the enemy ammunition is stored in the tanks, because that's the best chance you have for one-shotting enemy tanks. Shoot the ammunition. Here I'm very far into the enemy territory and I'm very careful. I'm looking around, backing up again, because sometimes what happens is you peek out, the enemy sees you, wants to shoot, and if you reverse, he misses his shot, and that's when you can strike. And now I see a T-28, and there you see the best example of, well, British cannon rounds. I hit him again, and then now I try to find his ammo. Close, but not quite. I hit him again, and this should work. Nope. I actually blackened his ammo, but it didn't explode, and somebody else took the kill. That's the bane of British tanks. And here I encounter the last tank of this match. And this time I hit the ammo and he explodes. So the match is over. Nothing happens anymore. And I'm just driving over to the other side, shoot some planes, and well, I don't hit, but this was a win for our team. Let's go over to the ratings. Okay, first the survivability of the Cromwell V. Though it does have a lot of speed to evade shots, it is a glass cannon. It's really easy for the enemy to penetrate and kill this tank, so I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. The agility is really good. It's fast, nimble. The problem is the reverse speed, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. The armament of the Cromwell is also really good from the reload speed and the penetration, if it doesn't face T-34 1942s, although it lacks the explosive filler, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. The fun factor of the tank, I really like driving this tank. I really like fast tanks that can get into good flanking positions, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. So as a total rating, I'm giving the Cromwell V a 7 out of 10. Okay, this concludes the Cromwell V review. Should you get it? Should you drive it? I definitely like the Cromwell V and the Cromwell 1. They are both my favorite low-tier British tanks, so yeah, definitely. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and bis zum nächsten Mal. And he actually got a few shots at me afterwards. And luckily, he's trying to turn fight with me. Which is, yeah, which is not very smart from him. Thank you very much.